Welcome to Virginia Currents. I'm May Lily Lee. This week, we'll meet a young visual artist overcoming big obstacles to create art and a performing artist carrying on her family's troubadour tradition. But first, Mutaher Azizuddin is a 22-year-old with a talent for poetry and art. She's a creative soul with a prolific body of work, particularly her artwork. When Mutaher was 7, she was diagnosed with ataxia telangiectasia, or AT. It's a rare neurodegenerative disorder. While the disease affects her movement, coordination, and speech, and threatens her immune system, Mutaher's mind is sharp and her spirit gregarious. Thanks to technology, teachers, friends, and family, Mutaher has an outlet for her artistic expression.
The way I see it, it's the beauty that's slowly unfolding, which is within her, and it's coming out.
Yeah, but I'm going to go on that side.
Oh, it's okay. I can always clean it up a bit. To me, well, it doesn't seem like that I'm patient, that it requires patience, because for me, it's a joy to do things for her. Take the stroke. All right. I think now you're having fun.
I think so.
I think so too. That's fine, that's fine.
It would be really interesting if you try to paint the colors within.
Ooh, that's a deep statement. To paint the colors within. I feel blessed that I have this beautiful child in my life that I can do things for. It's not that I have my moments, but it is a joy.
The name of my painting is Never Ending Jungle.
What a beautiful process for a parent to watch, because I know how beautiful she is from inside as well. And now for the world to see in a certain form, which is art.
AT is a genetic disorder. It's a rare disease. It occurs somewhere around 1 in 150,000 individuals. It is a challenge to everything they do every minute of the day. Mutaher is a cool kid, and actually she's not a kid, she's growing up now, but she's very pluckish, she hangs in there, she works hard at getting things accomplished despite hurdles that would be insurmountable for so many kids. AT is not a disease you would wish on anybody. It is a devastating disease that robs so many of the normal functions. It's sort of a combination of a muscle disease, immune deficiency like AIDS, and cancer all rolled in together. And yet these kids survive in the middle of all that. It is as all-consuming for mom and dad as it is for Mutaher to live in that body. Mutaher's family are heroic.
Every step requires a happy patience.
Some people with ataxia telangiectasia have a kind of immune problems that is made better by regular infusions of immunoglobulin. She gets this about once a month, so she has to come in and get an IV and this infiltrate over a number of hours.
It's kind of like a immune system booster. Like it protects me from getting sick. And
Mutaher is charming and bright.
I heard you have birthday plans. Or you have a birthday coming up, right?
Yeah. But I know we're doing something, but I don't know what it is yet. Before I get you to be 1 year, I'm already the next one.
Jesus, where's the bank gonna take our house? It's just an expression, genius. They don't take it anywhere.
I don't really like coming here, but when I look at it from the angle that I'm coming from, then I don't mind it. We found our own ways to make it fun. We used to bring movies from home.
Yeah, got it. AZIZ. These are PET scans of a child, of a number of kids who have ataxia-telangiectasia, and it's a way of looking at what areas of the brain are activated at any one time. We know a lot about what the gene does, but trying to get that directly to why the brain is a problem is still quite a challenge. There's a lot of hope because the gene itself does so many important things. There's a lot of people working on the research of that gene, even people who have no idea what the disease looks like. You just put on one scale kids who can't get their hand out of their lap. I think the best part is trying to figure out how to make life work inside that circumstance that they find themselves, because there's a lot there.
You're very spiritual, right? You think and feel from here.
And I find that not so much in Mutaher and her family, but there are a lot of circumstances where life stops in curious ways. Of course, they have problems moving and feeding themselves and dressing and all those sorts of things because of coordination. But the first and most obvious impression is that face, which oftentimes just doesn't move. It makes you think that there's nothing behind that face, but in fact, there's a lot behind that face.
I think when other people see me just physically, I think they do underestimate me. Because I think, like they say, there's much more to me than meets the eye.
Mutaher's family. It's also true that they get stuff from Mutaher. It's not just one way. She is giving as much as she is getting from them.
This there isn't as much fun because I don't have any control over where I go.
But it requires an extraordinary commitment and tasking of events.
This one was high.
It was high, so it was a little bit, huh? She is an old soul. The beauty she holds within herself comes out on the paper.
It's really difficult for her to make any gross or fine motor movements.
Despite of the challenges she had, she loves life. Simple as that. She enjoys everything. She's happy about everything. So that's a huge thing for us to learn sometimes, because sometimes we feel down for little things maybe. But she's always ready to pick it up and say, okay, let's take a different perspective, and we'll just turn my thoughts around.
I'm really grateful to our Lord with my heart that He has given us the opportunity to serve her and the strength to keep the family together in such situations. Thank you for your gracious gifts. Ameen. Some salad? Are you working on an island?
On the painting, yes.
What? Tell me more about that island. What kind of island is it?
Yeah. Oh, I think I kind of.
That's a good test of a vacation. When you forget things before the vacation.
You can forget about everything.
That's
Yeah.
confusion? Okay.
One of my favorites is emotional sand.
I've seen that.
Emotional
one.
sand is your
Right?
favorite?
That's the one.
Right. Which one is that? The one you have, right? That's
I think it's autumn falling.
autumn fall.
That's a beautiful
Yeah,
color.
that's
Falling.
I think she was born as an adult. From early age onward, she was way more mature in her thought process and consideration. She was very sensitive, caring, a lot of depth in her. If she wants to communicate something, she'll make sure it's communicated. She doesn't hold back. If she has a view, she'll say it the way it is.
That's what it is. Looks fun.
It does, doesn't it? So the tools are color, line, and shape, etc., right? Texture. I'll write a couple of these assignments down for you on a piece of paper. I want you to use different colors, the primary, secondary colors, and some neutral colors. Sometimes the pieces will happen very quickly. She'll design in the morning before lunch and resolve a painting in a couple of hours. And then other times, she'll review the paintings and decide to make changes. Mutaher is excited about every assignment.
is their mobility. At least they can move around wherever they want to. Every time, everyday chores. Okay. They're doing chores in the morning and the usual, preparing food for her or she's eating. I am so happy. Be careful, watch your step.
Often we don't think about how others really think and perceive and how much, but she's like an awesome listener.
Mutaher is very determined and focused. Mutaher graduated from St. Elizabeth's in 2011.
Mutaher came to SES as a very shy 16-year-old teenager. She has come a long way from that shy girl to an independent, confident young lady. After a wonderful year in middle school, it was time for high school. There was a lot of whining and crying. Then Mutaher told me to calm down and everything would be all right.
She inspired me to broaden my idea of what was possible. Mutaher picks every aspect of her design. She picks the color, she picks the shape, the texture, everything is Mutaher all the way. The computer is just a tool like a paintbrush. She kind of showed me that there's no limits. Just go for it.
Mutaher had a real love for the author Judy Blume. So we decided in her senior year that we would read several Judy Blume books during class. We would talk about things, and I guess the words wise beyond her years just come to mind. She had such insight and could find meaning in things that frankly I didn't at first.
I kind of felt happy, but a little sad too. Happy because I was graduating, so that meant I could work towards getting my business started, but sad because I was leaving all my friends.
I would say that Mutaher is wise. For a young person, she's quite wise.
Yeah, cool.
She is surprising. I think someone who first meets someone in a wheelchair, many of us are prejudiced and don't realize the stature of a person who's in a wheelchair. When you meet Mutaher, you learn a lot.
Every area of Mutaher's life is a campus.
Exactly. Her artistry in her dress alone. Her colors, her fashions, her sparkles, part of who she is again.
No matter how she was feeling on any day, you never see her looking hangdog. You never see her looking down.
St. Elizabeth School was a very nice school because it adapted to you rather than you adapt to the school.
There were times that it might take a little longer for her to get her thought across. Anybody that knows Mutaher certainly knew that it was worth the wait.
A conversation, understandably, is going to take a long time because she is a well of expression.
We were totally delighted and extremely proud that she's having her own art show.
Okay, so we're not on the hard one. Okay, so I'll help you take another hard one.
There's much more to art than splashing paint or having a computer do it for you. With Mutaher, she has a fine sense of color, and her designs, they're not arbitrary, they're deliberate. You can see the juxtaposing of space and color and objects.
When I have it in my room, depending on the day, I'm going to put it up according to how I feel.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Because this is an uplifting piece, and this is a very dark and intense piece. Just going from one end of the room to the other is a journey. She's letting her mind go to different places. She's being very bold with this. Alhamdulillah, so nice.
Well, I'm glad you like them.
She has interesting titles if you have.
Very interesting titles. I love that.
Like Yum Yum. Like it looks like 3 ice cream scoops. The colors are like it's different flavor.
Mutaher's art speaks to me about how vibrant she is, about people, how much she loves life, how much she loves colors, how much she loves to love.
My favorite pieces are the ones that involve nature, but that shouldn't influence your choice about the direction of your work.
It doesn't.
In some words, she's been my teacher in my life and taught me a lot about life and love.
And some days it would seem like it would never end.
Life expectancy, AT, something bad can happen at any time. And so we have kids who live only a few years, and we have an individual that came who was 56.
She has a confidence that she's going to be around.
I had a dream I was moving forward, floating gently to the sun. I come to see my world rewarded. A new day has begun.
The only limit that you have is the one in your mind.
The Azizadin family lived in Richmond, but now reside in Baltimore, so Mutaher can be near doctors at Johns Hopkins Hospital. To date, Mutaher has created more than 200 works of art. And you might recall, she mentioned that business of hers. Well, she and her father created a company they call Hues and Views. With that, she plans to create bed linen designs and other textile arts. Meanwhile, at Johns Hopkins, doctors continue to research that genetic component in the hopes of gaining valuable insight into ataxia telangiectasia.
Such a mommy thing. I'm sorry.
You could do that before I went on camera.
Yes.